I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory.
I thought Trump did a great job as a campaigner. You know, I think he tapped into fear and loathing. But the fact of the matter is, something happened on Facebook that influenced the election, and we're just never going to know whether it tipped the scales.
We actually did some reporting back in October of 2016 where we looked at ad targeting. But who did you target here?
So this ad group...
And there was this one political consulting firm in Richmond, Virginia, and they showed us exactly how you could target by zip code, by interest, and it was nothing nefarious at the time. And so we filed that story for the Today Show. And I remember thinking to myself, this could probably be misused. I wonder what's going on. So we revisited it after the election and we realized, wow, this is exactly what happened.
If you look at the troll content, you'll see at the very beginning of their efforts to woo the conservative Christian constituency, you'll see appeals that just simply say, do you want Jesus to win this fight with Satan, or do you want Satan to win? Press like if you want Jesus to win. Then, now we've got the contest between Jesus and Hillary Clinton. Now who do you want to win?
The official name of the troll farm is the Internet Research Agency.
The Russians pretended to be Americans so they could get Americans to believe their message.
What we're talking about is the beginning of cyber warfare.
What was interesting about the content of the Russian influence operation on social media was the coordination, synchronization, and consistency of message. You don't really get that, even in the case of extremism.
You also see appeals that say veterans aren't being taken care of. Who's being taken care of? Those illegal immigrants or those refugees. Now, the implication there is the party in power is sympathetic to the immigrants and the refugees. Hillary Clinton is sympathetic, Donald Trump is not. If you invest the messages with those assumptions, then those are activating the military families, and the assumption is not Hillary Clinton, Obama, they're not with us, is you should cast a vote for Donald Trump.
I think Vladimir Putin saw Hillary Clinton as a challenger. She was trying to advance the pro-democracy movement.
It is really hard to quantify the impact of the influence operation because it was very long running and because the social platforms simply haven't released the data on impact.
We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. It was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
We found ourselves unprepared and ill-equipped for the immensity of the problems that we've acknowledged.
We've seen some of the ads. We know that, that the Senate has the data set of the organic content as well. We don't have any public indication of engagement data other than that it touched 146 million people on Facebook and tens of millions on Twitter.
When you look at any one individual tweet, it might look weird, offensive on its own. It's only when you start to look at all these tweets together. We were able to collect over 200,000 of the tweets that have been deleted. That patterns start to emerge. You start to see signs of centralized talking points and coordinated activity. We hadn't really seen that online before.
The trolls, we don't know whether the people who got those were in the 3 states that ultimately decided the election: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. But we do know that there was enough messaging that was strategically aligned with the Trump messaging, and as a result was able, if it reached those voters, to have made a difference with them.
Today, WikiLeaks releasing 1,700 new stolen emails, part of a hack seized on by Republicans.
Then you had the GRU, which is another branch of Russian intelligence, and they were the ones who executed the hacks. And the material, so this is 2 separate organizations working in concert. The GRU releases these documents, the media picks them up, the American media, the trolls amplify the news stories that come out of the hack.
Private emails being exposed is like catnip for the media.
They're trying to turn the focus on the fact of the emails rather than what's inside of them.
It's very hard to resist this, and if you don't do the story, well, somebody else is going to do the story, even though I think people were aware that they were being used.
So now imagine we have a high number of undecideds coming into the end period in October with early voting happening during this entire period, and some outside force in a close election comes in and creates imbalances in the messages, more negative Clinton content than there otherwise would be. that difference can shape the outcome.
That was the day, of course, where the famous Access Hollywood tape was revealed, October 7th, which is enormously embarrassing to Trump.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab them by the...
People were talking about he should withdraw the first WikiLeaks revelations about John Podesta's emails began to appear at the same time, almost as if to distract from this anti-Trump story.
Think for a moment that you're watching a presidential debate.
Immigration reform.
The moderator is essentially your surrogate.
I want to clear up your position on this issue because in a speech you gave to a Brazilian bank for which you were paid $225,000, we've learned from the WikiLeaks that you said this, and I want to quote, "My dream is a hemispheric common market with open trade and open borders." So that's the question.
When a moderator in a debate says that Hillary Clinton said, according to WikiLeaks, that she favored open trade and open borders, the audience watching the debate doesn't say, well, was there part of that sentence that was left out?
Well, if you went on to read the rest of the sentence, I was talking about energy.
Hillary Clinton had said throughout that she didn't favor open borders, but the moderator just said that she said she did in private, which means you have a second dimension. Does she say one thing in public, I don't favor open borders, and another in private, I do? The moderator just looked as if he'd said that's what she had done.
I just think back to this so much. Like, without that hack and without those leaks, would we have gotten to this same place in terms of the conspiracy theorists on the internet? And I really don't think so.
It doesn't seem like there's a direct acknowledgement that there was a certain degree of interference or attempted interference. However, there is no measure yet that we know of exactly how much something like social media can actually sway an election.
Who's to say? Who's to say? That's the problem, is we'll never know what happened. And that's exactly why they did it the way they did it, because we'll never know, and so there'll always be doubt, and we'll point to these 10 other reasons Hillary Clinton lost.
The FBI has discovered new emails pertinent to the investigation of Hillary Clinton's emails.
Among them is this. This is going to be present, and it will be an asterisk on Donald Trump's presidency for all of history.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.